Welcome to the multiverse, starring your hosts Caboose and Zero.
That is so much better live. Ah,
Yeah, that felt so
Oh,
much
really?
better.
I
I
love
love
it.
it so much.
that was so great to see that one live. Woo!
I'm happy to
Ah,
oblige.
yeah.
Welcome
I got turned on a little
everybody
bit.
to our next episode of InfiniGeeks, which I just realized I did not caption, so that will be that the title will be changed in post production. We're not playing Halo right now, so I apologize on that.
What is wrong with you?
Well, apparently we're
It's
trying
all
to do
wrong.
a battle
It's
pass.
all wrong.
We are joined today with our first guest of the time, and that is KC. KC, I am super happy that you are with us.
Oh, it's an honor to be here, my dude. You kidding me?
Oh hell yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm stoked to be here.
We are also here with our other amazing co-host, Zero, who is also excited here. KC, it is your episode. So why don't you tell everybody what today's episode is called and what we're going to be talking about?
For sure. We are going to be talking mainly about the Saw franchise today, and more or less, like, it's gonna sound so fucking pretentious, excuse me, but like we're gonna be talking about the Saw franchise and what I would like to consider medical horror, as well as just, kind of like the mentality of John Kramer, and how it kind of applies to the survival mindset in real life. Like, if you've had a near-death experience, how it almost kind of makes, well, I don't want to say makes sense because I don't want to get you guys flagged, but you know what I mean. Like there's some rationality to it almost.
Mm-hmm. Well, Mr. KC, before we jump into that, because we got a lot, 7-movie binge to talk about with that.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. We have our guest outline that we want to follow and just go with it to get everyone introed into it. So for you, why don't you tell us how you got into said nerd culture and the pop culture, and how it's kept you kind of in and how it's impacted you?
Caboose. I have to interrupt. I'm so sorry. That is probably the nicest way I've ever heard anybody say to somebody that they're the guinea pig.
Oh fuck, he's
Just saying.
right.
Yeah,
Just
you
saying.
are.
Well, panic attack ensues.
You're
go.
welcome.
Let's go!
Caps, thank you for
Let's
the
fucking
sub,
go.
sir. Caps is
Okay,
lurking in here. It's all you, as Zero
Let's go.
put
I've
it,
been
the
a
guinea pig.
for more than just this. Right. So
We'll call this the guinea pig session.
yes, the gerbil. All right. So hello everyone. I'm KingpinChesire, KC, or Cheshire for short, whichever. I've actually been massively into nerd culture, more specifically the gaming aspect, kind of since birth. And the reason why, if we can get a little heavy for a moment, is so I've been through plenty of medical disasters, medical trauma. I was born with kidney failure, essentially. And so growing up was, well, to say difficult is an understatement, but growing up, especially with two brothers, an older and a younger, was very challenging because my dad wanted to, let's go out, let's go do all this stuff, let's go, go on a hike, explore, whatever. And I couldn't because I was immune suppressed and the outside was death. So I was always trapped inside while my dad would take my two brothers to go on these adventures. They'd go hiking on Lone Mountain. They'd go to Lake Mead. They would go do all this fun stuff, and I couldn't do any of it. Eventually, what happened was one Christmas, my mom to this day, she like legitimately jokingly says, I don't even know what came over me. It was just, we are religious, so my mom's like, it was a sign from God. But one Christmas, she saw a Nintendo 64 and she was like, "I wonder if my middle son would like this. Like, we'll check it out." So we got a Nintendo 64 one Christmas, and my older brother and I, younger brother was too young at the time, uh, were just obsessed with it. I mean, it was the stereotypical, little brother syndrome where sometimes the controller wouldn't even be plugged in. I would just be playing Super Mario 64 with my brother, and yeah. But as I would get a little bit older, and my dad would take my brothers on these trips, the N64 slowly became mine,
Mhm.
and they would go hike Lone Mountain. I would go hike Death Mountain to go save the Gorons. They would go to Lake Mead. I would go to the shipwreck level in Super Mario 64 to go swim with that terrifying eel and
Here we
explore
go.
the sunken treasure chest, all that stuff. And so gaming was kind of there for me from the start, and it literally provided that sense of escapism.
Mhm.
Like I literally wasn't a sick, dying child. I was the hero of time, or I was saving the princess, um, or hell, some of my best memories were Banjo Kazooie growing up. So I was just a bear and a bird goofing around. And as I would get older, I never, my love for gaming never really stopped. It actually just kind of flourished, and I started becoming really interested in things like, art design, writing, just like all that kind of stuff. And gaming allowed me to really look at it from that angle. And as I would get older, I would start to look at like, music producers in gaming. Like one of my most favorite soundtracks ever is from Jet Set Radio. And I would look up, I would find out like Hideki, I'm going to mispronounce his name, but the musical composer behind Jet Set Radio, I would go find him, not literally, and it would allow access for like all these other games I've never heard of with similar soundtracks, and
Mhm.
so it would allow like kind of my own mental world to explore, and I just kind of fell in love with it. Now, where I fell in love with the nerd culture of horror and whatnot, this actually is Saw, so this is very much related, and I very much love telling this story because it's just I don't know, it's great. But it was the summer of Saw 5, which
We're old if you have to pronounce it that way. It's the summer of Saw 5.
Yeah. Yeah,
American
right,
Pie
sorry.
3
I know.
just
I
came
know.
out.
Yeah, right.
I know what you
I
did
was
last summer,
pushing a
Danny.
hoop with a stick, and I believe George W. was in the office. No, I don't. But yeah, it was. I remember specifically the summer of Saw 5 because it was also the summer High School Musical 3 came out,
Oh,
and
good
my
lord.
mom took us to the theaters, and the plan was, okay, we're gonna sneak your older brother into Saw 5, and then I'm gonna sit with you and your younger brother for High School Musical 3. And I was like, I think I'd rather see Saw 5, but like, okay. And my mom got trapped into seeing there because of course it was the only goddamn theater usher that gave a shit about his job. So it was like, hey, this kid's underage. You have to sit here and watch this with him. So I had to watch High School Musical 3 with my brother alone, and I was terrified. No, I'm kidding. But
I'm
seeing
terrified talking about it.
right, seeing my mom walk out with just this look of like utter horror was something else. I love my mom to death. Mama Cheshire is amazing, but it was something else. And like I went to my older brother, I'm like, what power could do that to our mother? And Garrett's like, she doesn't like horror movies. And I'm like, can you introduce me to this? And he's like, yeah, sure. I watch horror movies sometimes. What do you feel? And I'm like, well, let's talk about Saw. Tell me about Saw. And he got me hooked because he told me, he's like, actually, one of the reasons I really like Saw is it kind of reminds me of you a little bit because, it's all about this dude who's had a horrible life and he just is sick of people taking life for granted. so he wants to put their willpower to the test. And that's like all he really said about it. And I was like, okay, cool, yeah, let's go, let's watch it. Which one do we start with? And he goes, the first one. Duh. So, it's 10 o'clock at night. We are sitting in our family room. The TV, like, we're sitting here on the couch. The TV is like up here, and to our left are these two glass French double doors. We're sitting, it's pitch black. It's just my older brother and I. And we get to, and like the entire time I've been unnerved. I've been genuinely frightened because, say what you want, the first Saw is genuinely a scary experience. I will not argue about the next ones, but the first one is genuinely unsettling. And we are at the scene in Adam's apartment, the flashback, the scene where Adam's trying to remember how he got there, and the power is cut from his apartment, and all he has is his Polaroid camera. I know you guys remember this because you just saw it like a few days ago.
Oh yeah,
so
some scary shit using that.
Oh yeah, so our house is pitch fucking black, right? All in kind of an immersive moment. Our living room or family room, I don't remember what I said. It's a family room. Our family room would be illuminated when he would take the picture as well. So we would get these brief moments of light. My older brother, like, I'm actually going to enact it here, deadpan, not saying a word, just like force locks the door, bars it, sits back down, and just, okay. And me being the younger brother seeing that, I'm just like, what? Why did you do that? What? Huh? Is it real? Is it real? Is Amanda out there? Is there a... Oh, fuck, they're coming for me, aren't they? And that... Well, that kind of did it. That like, it was one of the only moments I saw my older brother who, took on the role of being like, this bastion of strength, this like, this guardian protector role. It was one of the very few moments as a kid that I saw him like scared, that I saw him vulnerable. And that freaked me the fuck out. Like, a movie is one thing, but seeing someone who like never gets scared, asterisk, legitimately like shaking in his couch or like in his seat, nah. And from that moment forward, I very slowly but very eagerly jumped into the horror pool, and I have just been a horror junkie ever since.
Yeah, I think
I feel like you like that adrenaline rush of just being scared shitless.
Ironic because it's hard to scare me now after everything, but yeah, that's what it was from the start.
Talking. I want to say, if I can remember correctly, I think the first ever horror movie I saw was Children of the Corn.
Oh my god, that makes our connection even better.
Even better. Zero to explain that.
We're literally Isaac and Malachi.
Yeah, we joked about it. So we were playing. Was it Dead by Daylight that we started joking? We were in a cornfield.
Yep.
Yeah, so we started saying that we're.
Yep.
We're starting to sit there joking.
I am the giver and protector of his law.
Outlander.
Right. We were being chased by, like, I think Trapper, and I was like, he wants you too, Malachi. and yeah, we just became brothers of the Corn ever since then. So now, that's great.
It's just now an inside joke that I'll jump into his stream. And I was like, what's up, my brother from the Corn? And other people, what?
Yeah, everyone's just
I pictured that shit in black and white, too. I really did.
Right. And the best part is, we were like, I thought you were in Vegas, not Nebraska. And I go, I am the giver and protector of his law. Malachi works for me.
Zero, do you remember what your first horror movie was? I know you and I have talked that you're kind of an iffy on horror movies, but what is your first one?
Thank you for doing this for me, Zero. I love you. I'm sorry.
I think my first one was Jeepers Creepers, to be honest with you.
Well, that's a good one.
Scary. Yeah.
I think it was at my grandmother's house, and I distinctly remember this figure in a long coat and what looked like an Amish like hat. I don't know what hat you would call that. And then this horrifying face through a window, and it scared the living shit out of me.
Yeah, that's Jeepers Creepers, all right.
But since then, to be honest with you, I now love the long trench coats and those hats.
Oh, yeah.
So
dude,
I'd have to say it had an impact.
I'm in love with long silk cloaks now. So, like, I think the trauma also made me go, you know what? That style's also pretty fucking hot. Where can I get a pig carcass?
Yeah, right? I mean, come on. You just want to wear it.
Right? Like, do you know how many, like, fucking jumpsuits got sold after Halloween? Everyone's like, yo, Michael Myers is scary, but that fit, though.
But that fit, though.
I love
fit, he got that drip.
I love blowing people's minds with the actual fact that the original Michael Myers mask was just an inside-out William Shatner
I was just
mask.
thinking of this.
William Shatner mask, yep.
Yeah, to any of you who didn't know, I remember the story. I think they ran out of time or just couldn't find a right mask. They just turned a William Shatner mask inside out for the first Halloween movie. And it's like, well, we'll work with this. And they said it was horrifying. And I think after that, they actually had someone make the mask. So it was no longer William Shatner staring at the person.
Yep. And
wearing William Shatner's face the rest of the time.
The funniest thing is, like, there's a bit more to that. They literally tried almost everything. And every time they're like, nope, Jason did it. We can't. Nope, Jason did it. We can't do that. Because they were like, what about, like, a pillowcase, you know, like in those old pictures where it was Michael in a classic sheet ghost thing. And they're like, can't do that. Jason had a burlap sack over him in Friday the 13th too. And of course, one of the biggest ones was, okay, well, what about like a sports mask? And they're like, that's kind of fucking iconic for Jason now. We can't do that. And they were so desperate, they literally went to a Halloween store. And yeah, the set designer was like looking at all the latex masks. He's like, fuck it, the Star Trek one. Just give me that one. I don't fucking know. Jason hasn't done that yet. When he came back, they're like, well, you're right. Voorhees hasn't touched this, but I think there's a reason he didn't touch this. We're trying to have a horror monster, not there's something on the wing. Lord, I'm coming to stab you. Sit tight. But yeah, so eventually they turned inside out. They put it on Kane Hodder. And Kane Hodder was just like, am I beautiful? And they're like, you are terrifying.
Now, if I remember correctly, didn't Kane Hodder inevitably start doing Friday the 13th too? Yeah, so that's even better. It's like, I'm going to start this, but now your whole problem, just give me the damn hockey mask.
I was going to say, like, if I remember correctly, I think Kane Hodder has been Myers, Voorhees, and Bubba. Leatherface. Yeah,
Really?
I think so. I'm gonna have to Google that, but yeah, Kane Hodder is the man. And according to
why can't he just be all of them? So when we see him at a con, we can just have him sign a poster of all of them.
You can.
Oh my god, you are my favorite.
He
was also in Hatchet.
He was in Hatchet, wasn't he?
Yeah, and let's see what. Ooh. Oh man, he was in a lot of shit. That's right. He was in Behind the Mask: The Rise of Leslie Vernon. Oh, I love that movie.
So Caps was over here sitting there saying that his first horror movie was the OG Night of the Living Dead.
George A. Romero, fucking classic. They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Great movie. And then
also, I'm just saying, that line, they're coming to get you, Barbara. I love it in Shaun of the Dead, where his voice goes, "We're coming to save you, Barbara," and that's literally like a one-to-one rip off. That's literally like, yeah, they literally were like, "Hey, we're gonna steal one of the best lines ever. They're coming to get you, Barbara," and he goes, "Can I ruin this line?" And they're like, "How?" And he literally just goes over Simon Pegg and screams in the phone, just, "We're coming to get you, Barbara!" And the director was like, "We don't need to reshoot. That was great."
I love it. Just on a side thing, Zero, if you get the chance, I need to come over and we need to binge that whole set of movies that was Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, because it was so
Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, and
World's End.
At the Edge of the Universe, World's End,
World's End.
the pub crawl one. Yeah,
we do need to. I love Simon Pegg, and I just recently heard that he's playing the voice of the headmaster in Hogwarts Legacy.
That's so fucking great. Oh my god, I did not know that.
He was super excited about it.
That's awesome.
Oh my god, I'm so excited for this game. My wife loves Harry Potter, and I'm more excited about it than she is.
My girlfriend's obsessed with Harry Potter, and she's telling me, like, you need to stream this, and I'm like, I'll try.
I'll try.
Right, I'm like, babe, there's something you don't understand about the streaming world. I'm scared of communities, and the Harry Potter one is terrifying.
Yeah, because they're all like, well, if you buy this game, you're supporting her views. No, we're just buying the game because we enjoy Harry Potter.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, at the end of the day, Harry Potter is bigger than J.K. Rowling at this point. Like the wizarding world of Hogwarts is just, it's. I don't even think she had a direct hand in the development of this game. So, like, you're not wrong.
If I remember correctly, she got. They said no, we're not letting her touch anything with this. We're just exploring it.
Yeah, they talked to her like representatives, I guess you could say, about what she would do and how to connect the universe, but that was it. They didn't talk to her directly.
That's also why this is like 1,000 years before Harry Potter, before Voldemort, James Potter, Lily, all of that, because they would have to pay her out the ass in royalties if they used those characters.
Now it's just a little bit of royalties.
Yeah, but now it's just the Hogwarts name, which Universal Studios owns more of than J.K. Rowling herself.
All right, so real quick, since we're kind of getting off track, let's get back in. No, it's fine. It's fine. We do this shit all the time. Me and Caboose have a lot of experience with getting off track. I'm going to disappear for just a moment, but we'll get started here about talking about Saw 1 and go from there.
Also, I read what Cap said. Yeah, the Star Wars Episode 4 and Harry Potter are very, very fucking similar in plot. Orphan boy lives with aunt and uncle, finds from an old mysterious man that they have incredibly gifted gifts. There's someone that's very closely related to them that is on the dark side of those gifts. Shit ensues.
Yeah, I love how he's breaking down the best conversation about it. Out of nowhere, an old bearded stranger delivered to orphan boy in the first place shows up to take him away to learn ancient secret magic.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know about suckier lightsabers. Well, that's the thing, is like magic wands and lightsabers are different, Dad. Come on, man. Apples and oranges.
Yeah, you got literally a laser and you got a stick that just shoots sparks. That's
with magical abilities.
With a stick.
Wingardium Leviosa, gamer. You want to fight? No.
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Ronald Weasley. It's
Leviosa.
Accio bum.
I love that meme so much. I
love it so fucking much, dude.
Mrs. Caboose and I joke about that all the time. It is so great.
I do it to my girlfriend Mango, and she hates it so much. I'm just like, it's Leviosa. And she's just like, you need to fucking get out of my face.
It is so entertaining seeing in the background all of your stuff that I'm so used to seeing in your streams. And then, now, of course, I was going to say, and now we just have an empty chair. So empty chair, how was your day?
Right? Oh,
I did my 7-minute turnover.
The chair hurt us!
7-minute turnover.
All right, start the timer again. You have 6 minutes and 45 seconds, sir. Let's get on the road. No.
And go!
Right. A fellow Hydro homie, I'm with it.
All right, so
okay,
Casey,
back to topic.
We will now move on to said topic, which is Saw and the medical horror. Which, by the way, I did change the video title.
I feel like this is Repo Genetic Opera now.
I fucking love that movie. Oh
I
my
knew you
god,
would.
that is such a good movie.
Zero
you
asked
would.
me the other day, we were talking about how you wanted to change the episode name. And he sits there and goes, is he a fan of Repo? I go, who is not a fan of Repo?
I will admit though, what's her name? Carmen Vega. She plays
Shiloh.
or no. Yeah, but sorry, her real name isn't Carmen, but she plays Carmen in Spy Kids as well. Kind of cringy.
Oh yeah.
Kind of cringy, I'm not going to lie. But then can we all just accept the fact that we had oh my god, I can't remember her name. Fuck.
Paris Hilton?
No, it was Sarah Brightman, an actual Broadway performer playing in the movie. Sarah Brightman as Blind Mag. Yeah, that was an actual Broadway performer, which is why they gave her such difficult opera lines. And then we did have Paris Hilton in there. We also to make this relevant, we had Shawnee Smith in there. That's my girl. That's Amanda Young.
Yeah, I love the whole movie was a great thing. Zero, that's another binge movie.
What wasn't? Oh god, I think I seen this years ago with an ex of mine. Wasn't the actor who played Giles from Buffy the Vampire Slayer in there?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that actor. He's pretty cool.
I know the person who played Pavi was the lead singer of Sick Puppies.
Really?
Yes, that was him. There's a little. I know
that
it's
was
off
Jacoby?
topic. I know it's off topic, Zero, but there's a fun fact with it that if you watch the making of it, the faces that he has, one of the directors made a model off of his wife's face and put it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he goes, I didn't think it was really fucked up or creepy until I started to see him walking around with my wife's face, and I had to go home and kiss my wife, and all I could think about was him.
When a joke goes too far, man.
But that turned him on.
I recommend the other works. Aluya, The Devil's Carnival. That's another good one made by the same director. It's got like almost all the same actors in it as well.
Binge Night
And
Zero.
the best part is we have Binge. We have Paul Sorvino playing God this time around. He played Rotti Largo in Repo. And he's basically the same character. So it's so funny seeing this burnt out, washed up, like just God just sit there and like, I'm through with all of this. None of you care about me anyway, and all that shit. It's great. It's great.
So, with a sidetrack aside, no, you're right. You and I do this all the time, even in your streams. Yeah, we do. It's weird if you all the past episodes, Zero. I'm usually the one that tries to get us back on track, so Zero's jumped on this time around, which is great. But I'm just so excited we got our first guest. Our first guest, and Casey and I are just huge horror fans.
Honored.
So,
tis true.
Guinea pig guest.
But looks like I might have to come back on the podcast at some time.
Oh, most definitely. We love everyone. Anybody that wants to guest to come back
gamers,
if they have a great
you're
time.
Not getting rid of me.
Oh hell yeah.
We want you too, Malachi.
Yeah. Isaac.
But with that, we shall definitely move on to the Saw series, which I will say...
Yeah, medical horror.
And the medical horror. I will say, Casey, that we binged 1 through 7. I think we started at 11 o'clock our time and got done like 2
I already had this conversation with him, Caboose. It was 10 a.m. and we ended at 4 a.m.
Was it 4 a.m.?
Oh.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever felt so loved.
Well, there was one point I remember I messaged you, Casey, during the binge, and I told you we were watching it. I go, yeah, I think we're on 4. He goes, what do you think? I'm like, well, we watched someone do some open hearts or cut someone open to dissect them, and I'm really hungry now for some reason. And then we stopped the movie and we went and got Mexican food down the road. It's like, well, a steak burrito, I guess, is equivalent to this.
It was the burrito, man, was like this big.
It was a 15-inch burrito, man.
He ate the shit out of that thing. He ate the shit out of it.
Saw made me hungry. I don't know what to say.
Hey, mutilation builds an appetite, man.
It's watching a lot of energy to watch it
the whole time.
So with that, Casey, why don't
With
you?
that incriminating evidence out of the way.
Yeah. We won't talk about that. Apparently, horror movies make me hungry. But
Right,
with
hands up, who's the cop in the audience?
yeah, with that, why don't we'll dive right into Saw. Casey, why don't you kind of lead us in
Zero, I
this?
saw you. Okay, sure.
What? And we'll just we'll piggyback off you, and we'll kind of discuss topics along the way.
We'll
For
guinea
sure.
pig off of him. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, right. You just, oh man, you're in no mixed terms. No, but well, all right. So I'm gonna be real with you guys. The original name that we were kind of going with was is John Kramer? Hello,
Yeah.
is John Kramer genuinely evil, something like that? And the more I looked at it, I'm like, how the fuck do I argue this point without me seeming like some kind of John Kramer stan incel? And I was like, maybe there's a better way to go about this. So we changed it up for more like medical horror. But the main reason is so one of the reasons why John Kramer will always be one of my favorite horror movie villains, or not even really horror movie monsters because there's a different, but just like antagonists in general, is of course it takes place in a heightened reality, so like all of it's hyperbolic, but there's some relatability there. And at a time where most horror movie villains were, well, actually at the time they were all meta because Scream was out and it was all about poking fun at the horror genre. So we were getting a lot of tongue-in-cheek things. And before that, it was just make an unstoppable monster with no motives, well, not no motives, but with no reason or understanding. You have your Jason Voorhees, your Michael Myers, and then we got a little meta with Freddy Krueger and Ghostface. But John Kramer was one of the first ones that was not only actually human, because Jason Voorhees is more or less a revenant, at least I think so, and Michael Myers human, but incarnate of evil, and Freddy Krueger is a sleep demon, and then Ghostface is more than one person. Spoiler alert? I don't know, but I won't say names. I'll just say that. But John Kramer, I mean, like, even in the first movie, we get backstory, we get insight, and we actually get to hear like his mindset. And I'm not gonna lie, it may or may not have struck a chord with me. Now I'm not gonna go out and like engineer my own death traps and put people in them because they cut me off in traffic and that makes me upset. But at the same time, I have been I don't know if you say legally or medically, but I have been past tense more than once through all my medical endeavors. Like right now, I'm sitting here, age 27. I have borderline personality disorder, renal failure, fibromyalgia disorder. I don't know, all that shit. All that. But so if I could talk out of my ass for a moment, he kind of has a point. Not so a lot of people really don't understand the fragility of life, how easily and effortlessly everything can be taken away in a moment. There doesn't need to be rhyme, there doesn't need to be reason, there doesn't need to be logic, just done, gone, deceased. Death is one of the only one of the true non-biased entities out there. It does not care about your age, your status, your gender, your sex, anything. Death comes for everyone. And back when I was a more vengeful person, I've I realized, I'm not a the moment I realized no one owes me anything for surviving my transplants and everything, I became a much happier person because I stopped feeling like, the world owed me shit, which is the difference between like John Kramer and I. I feel like John Kramer thinks, the world owes him shit because he survived his own suicide attempt. He survived cancer. Well, he didn't, but, all that. But, I will be honest. There are times where it can get annoying. It can get irksome when you have people around you complaining about things like, like, oh, I hit my funny bone and I am just in like absolute agony or something like that, and they act like, it's the end of the world, and you're just looking at them and you're like, I get it. Pain is a spectrum, but there's a difference. And it's one of those things where it's hard to explain, but one of the reasons I really loved Saw and John Kramer as well is because, like, again, not being incriminating, not going to do anything harmful, but I would like to believe that I have, in my own way, survived a Jigsaw game, more or less. I mean, dialysis itself, it feels like a Jigsaw game because they're two, like, 9-inch needles that get put in the same arm near the same area, and your blood's being cycled out and whatnot, and just all this stuff, right? And I genuinely believe if people really understood just how fragile life really is, just how meaningless money, status, fame, how meaningless that really is, and if they would just realize, like, life boils the best parts of life are the memories you leave behind, the connections you made, just the impact you as a soul leave, things would be different. I'm not encouraging anyone to go do a John Kramer. I don't want to see any real world reverse bear traps or anything, but a part of me really sympathized with John because I get it. I don't have cancer, thank God, but renal failure is something similar where every day you need to be careful. Every month you need to get your blood tested. You need to make sure, and if something's going wrong, you need to take drastic measures to prevent it from getting worse. And even then, you can do everything right. It's still going to fail. The organ is still going to fail and die, and you're going to have to start all over again. You kind of live your life in cycles this way. And so I understood his frustration of him just, and we don't really get the frustration in the first Saw. It's more done through flashbacks, but I get the frustration of him. Like, for the longest time, he was just trying to live his life and he couldn't, like in Saw 6, we saw him just trying to apply for health insurance to make his life easier. And they denied all of his claims because he has because he had cancer. And he looked at him, he goes, that's what health insurance is for. That's literally why I'm doing this, because I'm dying. And Bobby Dagan, was it Bobby? No, I think he was Saw 7. I think he was the one who lied about it. But yeah. But yeah, he literally looks at me and goes, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do. And coincidentally, we also saw the victim where he was literally like, where the father was also applying for a health insurance loan and he denied him, and the son and mother look at him and are like, you fucking killed my dad type deal. And I get that. I've been in that literal situation, which is why Saw 6 is one of my favorites. There is nothing more humiliating, and I hope you guys never have to go through this, but I was on the phone with an insurance agent, right? And they were talking about a future transplant, my second kidney transplant. And they were talking about, like, underlying conditions, all that. And I mean, I can't lie. I was like, yeah, that happens when you go through a transplant and whatnot. And they're like, it's not looking good for coverage. And I'm like, you do know to go through a second transplant, you have to go through a first, right? I'm not going to be the fucking pinnacle of health.
Mhm.
And then the worst part is she goes like, all right, well, in order to forego that, I'm going to need your timesheets and your pay stubs for the last 9 months. And I'm thinking, okay, but why? And in just the most apathetic tone, to make sure you can actually pay for this surgery and your policy.
With that,
My,
okay, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say that there's a line in the sixth Saw movie when he's having that point that sticks with it, and I paused it and looked at Zero, and we both agreed with it. When John sits there and makes a comment and goes, you know, doctors, and it was initially there's other countries that will sit there and help. Their first prerogative is to make sure you are healthy, and then they worry about how you can pay it back and do all that, not versus looking at you as a meal ticket, which which
exactly.
and Saw 6 was definitely that one that kind of opened the eyes to people of how unfortunately that medical system is in this country. Of we it is bad to say it, and but I think Zero can attest to it because my brother-in-law had to go through all of this. That we're basically like a price tag. That is what we are in the
Yep.
medical
It's faulty
system.
because it's run by greed.
Exactly. American citizens are a commodity, and our main export is the sick and disabled. So at the end of the day, I realize, unfortunately, I'm literally just a massive barcode to a lot of establishments because of how much they can charge for treatments and procedures and everything, and it's humiliating,
Hmm.
to put the least. And the funny thing about it as well is they touch on this in Saw 7, actually, which is, like the moment with the support group where it's like all the survivors of Jigsaw games. And there's this moment that also really stood with me very, very much. It was this moment where it's Dr. Gordon from Saw 1. He hobbles in with his cane, and I mean, the way he talks, it's very clear he has a different motive. But he's
Hmm.
talking about, like, in here in this room, these are the strongest men and women uh, to ever walk the earth. You all have proven you deserve to live. You deserve the life you have. And I don't remember her name, but she was literally an insurance agent from Saw 6, the opening with the bolts going into their temples. She had
Hmm.
to cut off her arm in the pound of flesh
I
game.
thought she was a banker.
Was she a banker? She was. You're right. She was a
She was a
loaner.
Yeah, she was
banker.
handing out faulty loans and bullshit.
Yes, that's right. She would give people loans with jacked up interest rates, despite the idea of, like, I mean, she might not have owned the bank, but yeah. Thank you. You're right. Um, but yeah, there's a moment where she kind of not attacks, but like screams at Gordon. She goes like, "What the fuck are you talking about strength? I was put in a position at my job where if I didn't do what I was told to do, I would go out hungry and homeless. And my testament to strength, all I get is free handicap marking at the fucking mall. What the fuck are you talking about?" And I mean, she has a fucking point. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like, I have people, I go to work every day with a cane. Whether or not I need it, I go there with a cane because safety. I don't know if my body's going to lock up or fail on me, and I don't have the necessary resources at work that I do have here at home.
Hmm.
And it's the thing, where people like look at this and all they can think to say is like, "Oh, but you're so strong." And it's like, I don't want to be fucking strong, dude. I just want to be fucking normal. And like the fucking the gawking, the gasping, the all this shit, it's nothing. You know what I mean? Like, for Gordon to come in there and be like, "Oh, you're all strong," and they're like, "Motherfucker, we are traumatized and disabled." And the funny thing is, like, as you could tell, so few people in that room felt martyred or exalted or like admonished. They all felt fucking pissed.
Well,
Which, I
you go
mean,
ahead. I'm sorry.
sorry, it's that's how it is, like the American healthcare. They beat the shit out of you. They leave you almost more broken than when they found you, just in a different aspect. And then it's just a matter of, all right, find a new quality of life with how your body is now. And it's just like,
Though, with
it's a
talking
lot.
about with all of that, with especially with everything that you're going through, and talking about again Saw 6, Saw 7, bringing up everything that was going on, uh, we can still actually talk about the original thing we wanted to say about, was John really evil? You look at everything that John went through in the
Okay.
in the Saw series. I'm just saying, you think about that, because like you said, he was doing fine, and then he got diagnosed with inoperable cancer, and then you flash forward all the way to episode, or the sixth movie. I want to say episode 6. We might as well call it episode 6, but then you sit there,
I mean, fuck it, yeah.
but then you get to
I
that.
mean, hell, you can't even get our episodes right.
They get fixed in post. But you
Fuck
look
it,
at
we're doing it live.
exactly. But you look at that too. You flash forward to the sixth movie, and he's sitting there's like, well, I have this person that has a high success rate. It's over here. Let me go and take care of this, and then we can work about paying you back. But the system wouldn't give him that. Well, then you go back to, was it Saw 3, 4, where you find out that he was with a woman, and the reason that woman, he went on that vengeful pact is he didn't tell her she had cancer. They were having a kid. The kid got destroyed because he was starting to
Jill
try to
Tuck,
see
yep.
some good in society just a bit, and hit what he thought with that clinic was good. But then you had Amanda and her boyfriend. They robbed that
Cyril.
place for the drugs, and that led into the miscarriage for that child. So when you look at the grand scheme of the whole story of put back together with everything, um, John was a vengeful person. He was upset with society in that point, because it showed society did let him down in that aspect.
I was gonna say, it didn't just happen though. Like, there are these steps, and the thing that, like, it interlides with Saw as well is, so this isn't a spoiler, but it's more of an Easter egg. John's son's name was Gideon.
Hmm.
For all my Saw aficionados out there, some gears are turning. That's the name of the workshop as well, the Gideon Industries, that John and Jill Tuck owned.
Hmm.
John, Jill Tuck and Gideon Kramer were John's world. We don't know very much about John Kramer before he was diagnosed with cancer, because that's kind of how everything started. But it was very clear, he was a dreary man. He had some bad depression, but he really, really fucking tried to see the good. And, like, in the good, he 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 reformed his life around Jill Tuck, who was like a rehab nurse, not
Hmm.
really rehab, but a treatment nurse. And so Jill's whole philosophy was, everyone is good, you just need to give them a chance. And so John was like, okay, everyone is good, I just need to give them a chance. And Jill's like, that's right, everyone has something good about them if you just take a step back and give them a chance to show you. And in this happening, Jill would talk about some of her patients, namely Amanda.
Hmm.
And, so while Jill was doing her job and John was diagnosed, you're right. John didn't tell Jill because he didn't want to worry her and Gideon during the, especially while Jill was like kind of the only source of income. However, here's one thing that I absolutely love that haunts me. Billy the doll, the puppet, I want to play a game, that was handmade for Gideon. Don't get me wrong, any child gets that toy and they're going to shit their fucking pants and have trauma. But
Zero,
like
I'm buying it for
John
you.
Listen here, you know that as soon as I saw that reveal, that I was like, I'd shit my pants too, and I'm an adult.
Yep. But that little toy was made, as so was the tricycle, was made for his son. And kind of the final thing that snapped for John, it wasn't him, his coverage getting denied. It wasn't how Dr. Gordon talked about him in the hospital in Saw 1. It wasn't, you guys haven't seen this one yet, but in Jigsaw, which is Saw 8, it's revealed again that his tumor was misdiagnosed.
I knew it.
So yeah, it could have been operable and redeemed if one nurse didn't switch the labels on the X-ray imaging.
See, with that zero, and I didn't mean to interrupt you again. I'm so sorry. I pointed it out to Zero.
No, you're good. You're good.
I pointed out to Zero because if it wasn't operable when they did the surgery in Saw 3, I think it was Saw 3. When they did that surgery, if it was inoperable and it was that bad at that point, then when she did the surgery, he would not. I've been around enough people. My mom's a nurse, that if they would have had that surgery, there's no way in hell he would have bounced back or had some form of anything. He would have died much quicker. But then when you look at that whole point in the end of that, after they do the inoperability and they take the surgery out and take it out, he's coming to and he's slowly gaining his function back. So that's a fun little thing that, Zero and I were talking. It's like, there's got to be something wrong with this because there's no way he'd bounce back from that.
Yes, exactly.
And to build on your point, Casey, it wasn't all. I mean, he had all this stuff building up,
Yes.
and he's trying to see the good and try to agree with his wife. Okay, yeah, all this is happening, but it's happening for a reason. I'll try to stay on this track. But then when he lost his child, that was the last straw for him.
It was.
Made him go, my viewpoint is different now. I love my wife and I agree with her, but I feel it can be done a different way.
That's exactly right. What happened was, after the miscarriage, there was a discussion and Jill's like, no, there's still good in people. You don't understand. And John goes, oh, I'm not saying there isn't good in people. I'm saying using the pacifistic way and waiting for them to show it to you, that is wrong. You need to force them to see the error of their ways. And how that happened, and I love this so much. Yes, I'm a huge nerd, but John, for the people that specifically wronged him, namely Dr. Gordon and Nurse Lawrence. Nurse Lawrence is in Jigsaw. You guys haven't seen that one. He recruits them. He puts them through he put Dr. Gordon through a very winnable game, because Adam was meant to die from the get-go. But he put Dr. Gordon in a very winnable game, and then he recruited Dr. Gordon. Lawrence, the nurse who misdiagnosed, he put him in a game, and then literally right before the game was about to end, John realized that it's not this man's fault. He just put a sticker on a wrong thing. That could happen to anyone. And John came in and saved him at the last fucking minute. And then there's even a moment where they're building the original reverse bear trap together, and he messes up and he like throws it off the table and loses his shit. And John puts a very loving hand on him. And yes, this is after the cancer. He's bald and everything. But John goes like, you need to learn to forgive yourself for these mistakes. Otherwise, you'll never move forward. You need to breathe. understand that sometimes you're not going to do it right, but you need to forgive and keep moving.
Wait,
And ironic, but
well,
Yeah,
that
it's
was in
ironic for
Jigsaw.
him. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, go ahead, Zero. Do you have anything?
No, it's ironic for him because to forgive and keep moving. Well, he did
Yeah,
put his
yeah,
son's killer in a trap.
Well, then
yeah,
you look at that too, though. In the same
Well,
breath, you go to find out that it was Amanda and her boyfriend with all of that. Then you got to go into the question of I know the boyfriend died. I know he died, but
yep,
then he put Amanda in the trap. He lived, and then she came and got him. That was probably one of your second, if not early stages of sitting there going, "Look, you caused this. You weren't the direct cause, but you were the indirectly involved with this whole situation. So I'm giving you that chance, a second chance." And the way he kind of forgave her himself throughout that time, and he did start to love her as a daughter throughout that whole series and saw the
yes,
struggle, and you saw that progressively as the series went on until you got
yeah,
that.
and I can agree. I'm sorry to interrupt, but yeah, I mean, her boyfriend did inevitably die. I think it was almost set up in a way where he couldn't get out, even though it
A-
looked like he could.
actually, he did get out.
The
Did
boyfriend?
he? I don't
Yeah,
remember.
okay, so fun time. Cyril's trap, the knife chair, was the very first trap John Kramer ever created.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the trap that he was secured to a chair with his wrists and his legs bound by razor wire, and they were covering vital arteries, so he was bleeding to death. And there was a pressure plate in front of him and kitchen knives all around him. He had to push his face through the knives to hit the pressure plate that was going to release his shackles. He pushed himself a little bit because remember, John Kramer said, "I want you to match the ugliness and the hideousness that is on the inside and put it on the outside." And Cyril actually he beat the trap kind of, because the trap broke apart. It was John Kramer's first one. He was halfway through the knives when it broke, and one of the knives cut his ear off. So that's why he was doing this. And what happened is John is literally standing there, but he's planning it, right? He's standing there and he goes, "Congratulations." And Cyril is standing there still in rage, and "You're fucking dead." And he charges at John, and John literally just sidesteps, and he falls in a pit of razor wire. So, like, John Tech, well, I guess you could argue John didn't kill anyone, but yeah, no, Cyril escaped, and he could have escaped with his life.
Casey, is that you? Oh no, I think
That,
I think Zero reconnected his headset. I think that's what was going on.
yeah, I think so. But yeah, so
Yeah, I went deaf
Cyril,
for about half a minute.
sorry, what's up?
I went deaf for about half a minute, but continue.
Oh, no worries. So Cyril was actually the very first trap that made John Kramer into the Jigsaw Killer. Well, I mean, kind of. And Cyril did escape. He just he was filled with rage, and he
Killed
ended his own
himself.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, which is funny too when we talk about him being the Jigsaw Killer. I love the one line. He goes, "Well, you're the Jigsaw Killer. You take pieces to sit there and make the symbols." Like, no, I just the I didn't call myself that. The media did, which is funny because if you look in history about any serial killers, the media's the
They
ones
don't
that.
name themselves.
Yeah,
They
I
never
think the
do.
only one that acknowledged it in history wise that was okay with this killer. Hey, we're back to the chair. Hi, chair.
I gave
The
you a
only
warning. Shut up.
the only serial killer I think that acknowledged and was happy with his name, I believe, was Jack the Ripper.
Zodiac kill and
The,
Jack, yeah.
yeah, I
Well,
was
plus
thinking the Zodiac killer, but
because he
I
left hints, and he would actually sign it the Zodiac Killer, wouldn't he?
oh he yeah
Yes,
well
yes.
initially I think he initially started it by saying he was the model of the gun that he would send the letters to, the gun that they killed him with, and then he changed it to the Zodiac Killer after the media started calling him that.
He
Right.
accepted
And then
it, and he took the name for himself.
Exactly. Right. Like, I'm not saying he came up with it, but I'm saying he did fall into
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Like, he was like,
where
all right, if they're gonna call me
where
this, then I'll do it.
Jack the Ripper, depending on how I'm talking to all my Ripperologists out there, and that is the official term for that. Um,
Yeah.
Depending on the points you believe, he did send letters to him and all of that stuff. But a lot of Ripperologists believe there's only one letter where he acknowledged he was Jack the Ripper. And he was talking about how I love the name the media gave me and whatnot, and I was eating this thing, and he sent I think it was the half-eaten liver, a liver with a bite out of it. He sent it to the
Yes.
police station. Yeah. So it's entertaining, especially with Jigsaw, where he's like, "Oh yeah, I didn't give myself the name. The media gave me that name, and they got it all wrong. I take that piece of the Jigsaw to show the part of them that they're missing."
Right.
So
That I always did like that part too. How like what the media thought of Jigsaw versus the actual Jigsaw were two different things until like Saw 5 when he was like, all right, let's get public then, you fuckers.
yeah,
He's like, I'm not a murderer. I despise murderers.
Right.
and it goes into what to the whole thing too with was he evil, and I love the best line, and Zero and I talked about this for a while, was, well, you're a murderer. I'm not a murderer. I didn't kill anybody. Which is the truth,
Yeah.
because you look at everything, he only put one person in the chair, which was Sal, and then after that it was all of his underlings, and then he helped devise the stuff, so in legality terms you could call him the accomplice, but realistically, even then he's
I like the idea of him. He's not a murderer, but he is a master at assisted suicide.
exactly
Oh,
as he
yeah.
put it. He
Yeah.
goes, I've never killed anybody. I just give them the options to live or die. Which
Yeah.
is funny, because then it's a technicality. It's like, well, you didn't really kill them, but these guys pretty much committed suicide. He all but gave them
Exactly.
the
Like, you
great
didn't
Kool-Aid.
kill him, but you handed him a fucking gun, my guy.
Yeah.
Your fingerprints are all over this shit.
He pretty much
It's
goes,
like,
hey, you're thirsty.
here you go.
Right?
He pretty much went, hey, you're thirsty. Here's the Kool-Aid. Oh, just let you know, it is spiked with poison.
Right? As you're drinking it, too. So, like, oops.
So,
But,
Sorry.
with
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, on my point though was to the original thing, because it is. I still think the original theme that we wanted still fits with all this as we discuss it. That I I think he's evil. I really don't think he's evil. Me personally, I side with it, especially, Casey, with all the medical stuff you've gone through. I've had to watch my brother-in-law, who had complete and total, a rare disease for kidney failure that hit his body so quickly, we had to submit him to the hospital fast.
Do you remember the name of the disease?
I think it was
Just
like
because kidney
OTS
is
or
like
something. I'd have to look it up,
Okay.
but yeah, it's like they said it's like a one out of like thousands of chance or something like that you get it, and he was one of those that unfortunately got it. So I had to be by family side to see all of that. So it's one of those that, to me, seeing how all of this has affected you, and do you take that outlook on life? With you sit there, said, life is a chance and it's given to you, and that's the best thing you can do. The question is, when you come into a situation like that, do you sit there and fight it? Do you just pretty much go, well, you know what, I give up? Or do I sit there and go, no, they're still fighting me, I'm going to fight this all the way to the end? And that's kind of what, Jigsaw or John Kramer looked at after everything. He goes, well, you know what, these people have wronged me. Yes, you could look at that as evil, but he gave them the chance of going, you've wronged, now I'm going to put you in a punishment trap similar to the stuff that you did to us, and you can now know how it feels, and you can go out the other side if you survive, and a different outlook on it, and change your views.
He's giving them the
Exactly.
choice to redeem themselves in a way. It's like, you stay who you are, you will die. You come out of
Yes.
this, you'll be a better person for it, even though, yeah, there's some permanent damage, but you will be a better person.
Yep. And I mean, like, his whole his whole thing as well when he was talking to people as well was just like, I don't put them in something that like I myself couldn't survive type deal. And I
Mhm.
mean, for what it's worth, John Kramer did literally rip like 3 feet worth of rebar out of his gut when he tried to kill himself. So, I mean, yes, absolutely. I agree. I also think it's kind of a funny look on like on how we treat mental illness in America as well, because like it's very clear John Kramer had very, very bad mental illness, very bad PTSD, very bad
Mhm.
trauma, all of that, and it never went treated. And this is what became of it. And it's like it's just one of those things where like in today's day and age, we have people who show such obvious signs of suffering and anguish and look and begging for help, and when nothing comes of it and the next option is a psychosis attack and things get violent, suddenly it's, oh, they're a menace, they're this, they're that, and it's like, why are you only noticing it now? Why weren't you there when they needed help? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, there's this entire thought of like, if people just if people would respect mental illness and treat it like they do physical illnesses, this kind of shit wouldn't be happening.
Exactly. Do you have anything to weigh in, Zero? I see you kind of waiting that you don't want to interrupt. Like Casey and I've just been playing the interruption game to each other all day.
Well, and see that, and
Yeah.
see that's fine. I just sit here and thinking about all of it. It's just that I don't know. I mean, yes, he was a damaged man, but I don't know if I feel like there was some mental illness thing in there. I feel like he was a very intelligent man and he took advantage of some of his situations. Like he was a very accomplished mechanical engineer in the series, and
Yeah.
that does show with his contraptions. But I feel like. Like Casey said, I'm not going to go out and do the same thing he did, but I feel he has a very good point in that his therapy does work for most people. There are some people who are still damaged by it and then go, "Oh, the world owes me something." No, I unfortunately for everybody, I don't care who you are, the world is a battleground, and you have to fight to live. You have to
Yep.
Mhm.
fight to be the person you want to be, to have what you want, to have what you need, to be a better person.
That
You
was the
have to
most
fight
important
for it.
lesson I learned in life. Sorry, not to interrupt.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. I was pretty much done.
But
If I
it's
could
fun.
actually,
Go ahead.
sorry, I was saying if I could actually piggyback off of that, Jesus. Um, yeah, that is honestly like one of the most important lessons in life to learn is nobody is entitled to anything, really anything. Um, and the people that go around acting like the world owes them things, it makes them bitter and miserable, and it also makes you feel um almost worthless because like I I was raised um told by my mom, and it was not meant to be malicious at all. It was just misguided parenting, you know what I mean? It happens. There is no absolute rule book to being a mother, so I'm
No
not
one's
mad at
perfect,
all.
man. It's okay.
Exactly. But she would tell me, uh, you know, God put you on this earth for a very, very big reason. You are destined for absolute greatness, like real anime protagonist type shit. One day I will eat All Might's hair and become the number one hero. I will master the heart of the cards. I will become the ultimate Pokemon trainer type shit. And I lived my entire life up until maybe 24 um thinking that it's not me, that's someone else.
That's zero. It is Zero's headphones.
No worries, no worries. But it's like I've lived almost my entire life up until age like 24. I'm 27 for reference. um thinking I just need to wait. You know what I mean? Like I like something amazing is gonna happen. You know, I don't need to do anything. I'm just waiting for my reward. And I was fucking miserable because I just, you know, nothing ever happened. I started to feel less and less like a actual human because this sense of entitlement and the cold reality of no one's entitled to anything just hits you like a fucking cold crush.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment I realized my reward is the fact that I'm here. That's it. That's the reward. You know, like the you know, there isn't going to be some grand sensei master waiting goes like, I see you've been through 3 transplants. You are now ready to take on the elder gods type
That's not
deal.
true.
Like,
If
that's
you go
not
to
gonna
a right
fucking
subway,
happen.
right subway or an alley, you will find that sensei for a couple dollars. Give them a couple dollars, they'll be the sensei.
Yeah, for a couple dollars.
I am that sensei for a couple dollars.
For a couple
But,
dollars, you
yeah,
too can
now-
have KC be your mentor. But he'll tell you what you want, but I promise you, there is no black belt at the end. Maybe a nice crisp high five, though.
The crispiest of high fives and maybe a black belt, but not in the way you're thinking.
Oh,
It'll sound like a crunch bar and a belt snap on your ass.
I was... So, Zero, I see you found me in an alley one day, and the memory is still there.
Yeah, you know, we're like Batman, except we survived.
God damn it. I mean, really, though.
he
But,
straight
like,
up broke my back.
Yeah. But, God, he blew out my back, but not like that. But, to go back to it, you know, I had this massive realization where it was just like, you know, the fact that I'm here, the fact that I'm still able to experience life after all of that, I mean, that kind of is the reward. And if that's not good enough for some people, then that's where the anger comes from. You know what I mean? Like, there are people out there that I've actually had conversation with. I won't name names, but there's a coworker, ex-coworker of mine who was diagnosed with cancer. It was treated almost immediately. It was benign. I mean, well, as benign as cancer could be. It was treated. It went into remission all within the course of about a year, right? And this person still walks around extremely narcissistic, extremely self-entitled, and is walking around, you know, acting like he's better than everyone because of this. And he would get so irate and so upset when people would disrespect him by not letting him walk all over them. And, you know, there was one day where I had enough and I confronted him. And I'm just like, what the fuck is your problem, dude? And he's like, well, I would think you of all people would realize what's going on. And I'm like, yeah, your entitlement is a fucking problem. And, you know, I told him, I'm like, here's the fun thing that you don't realize when you go through stuff like this. Because, you know, he's like 26. This all happened in a year. I've been dealing with stuff like this for 27 years now. And I'm like, here's what you don't get. This isn't a fucking bragging right. You know, this isn't like a fucking medal of honor that just everyone's going to see and automatically respect. This is a battle that you won, and if the solace alone of knowing you beat cancer is not enough for you, what the fuck else could you want out of life? You beat cancer. You know what I mean? And it like for me, going all the way back to 1998, the first kidney transplant. I was 3 years old, and the doctors everywhere were saying, like, just it's not even worth it. It's not even worth to attempt a transplant, because pediatric child's transplants were almost non-existent at the time, and the ones that were, it was like you gave birth to twins, one has kidney failure, quick, cut open the other one, give them a kidney, okay, pray to God that works type deal. What we were trying to do is, like, we were trying to get an adult to give me their kidney in the family, and all the doctors were telling my mom, I mean, we legally will do it because we can't say no, but you will be wasting money and we will be wasting resources. Okay, well, all those doctors were fucking wrong. I'm here. And, and the funny thing is, like, there are days where, yeah, sure, sometimes I feel like maybe I wish life wasn't so rough because I've already survived through so much. When the fuck can I stop being in survival mode? But, like, there are moments where I realize something, and it's something really nice. My reward for going through all of that and still being here is I get to be a genuine beacon to people going through similar things. And if I could be braggadocious, but not really, transplants are, like, especially renal ones, are almost as common fucking practice as getting your tonsils removed now, as well as for the pediatric side. And, just gonna fucking say it, I would like to think the first successful adult to pediatric transplant on the west coast of North America had something to do with that. After seeing it happen, doctors stopped going, well, it's a scientific improbability, and started going, it did happen with that one kid. Let's keep doing it, and practice makes perfect. That's my reward. My reward is knowing that there are countless people, thousands, that will never have to suffer the way I did, or have to be told such horrible things that my mom was told when she was holding her dying child. Doctors now will never look at a child who needs organ transplant and say, you'd save more money buying a coffin than you would this transplant. My mom was told that. And, it's like, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, what bigger reward could I ask for? I'm helping people, and it's this disconnect. Like, when we take my ex-coworker and it's like, you're walking around expecting people to, like, bow down to you, like, oh, my liege, oh, you are so much better than us, you are so much stronger than us. And I'm like, look, just even if there's a part of that that's genuinely true, great people don't need to go about talking about how great they are. They're busy proving it. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's just this sense of entitlement and this sense of, like, I went through this, so everyone needs to bow to me. No, man, you went through this and you survived. That's the reward. You survived. And that's why I agree a lot with John Kramer, because, like, John Kramer's whole thing is he was just like, no, you don't get some kind of fucking $10 million pension because the $1 million pension because, like, you survived a reverse bear trap or something. Your reward is now you get to live understanding not the meaning of life, but understanding the meaning of death. If I'm not being too, like, fucking cringy and
no,
it's
here.
see, yeah, they come back out of this understanding more about life and the fact that it's not all about greed or helping yourself or doing whatever. You come out of it going, okay, there's more to this than meets the eye, and what it comes down to is the people need to work together to create something that's better for everyone. Why would you want to live miserably? No one wants to live miserably. So if that's the case, why are we standing back and not working together? Because of anxiety, depression, God knows what? No.
Read.
Don't use that to hold yourself back. Work together to make something better for everyone here.
Well,
Exactly. That's
in
the
the
thing is
chat.
like,
Oh, go ahead. We're
no, I'm reading the chat as well. What's up, Mama? What's up, Sad Boy?
yeah.
Yeah, I did read about that.
Son,
Sad
I'm
Boy,
here. Yeah.
did you read about I'm trying to remember. There was a science experiment where they actually kept a a beheaded dog conscious and alive for like 4 minutes, and it's just horrifying.
Yeah.
But
That's
also like,
ridiculous.
yeah, oh
Why?
my god, it was literally I mean it was not recent. It was not a recent thing, but the footage is out there and it's fucking horrifying. And then Mama, yep, the value of life. That's what it's
Yep.
all about. And the thing is like, Zero, like I couldn't agree more. The thing is like, humans are we're a cooperative and a community species. We're group hunters. We're pack animals, and this mentality of like every man for himself. You are always at competition with your neighbor. You know, always competing for things as meaningless as like job positions or like, you know, promotions or whatnot, when the fact of the matter is like we should be working together as a whole, just as a whole. Like instead of people always fucking competing for like, you know, who's the best doctor or like, you know, what's the best medical insurance policy or whatnot. How about instead of giving a fuck about your practice and giving a fuck about how much you charge, you give a fuck about the people you're helping. Like you just give a fuck about helping humanity and not helping your ski chalet up in fucking Colorado type deal.
I gotta
Because like
say,
90% of the time,
your point's being driven across so much more too by hearing Zero's mic or stream backing up. You're getting that epicness right behind the punch, man.
I think we're good now,
Yeah,
Zero.
yeah, you really are, and I'm so aggravated with this thing because it's never done this before, where it keeps disconnecting from the computer. I don't know if it's the updates it needs, but it's starting to really agitate me.
But not to interrupt you again, Casey, but it is, looking at Saw, we went into it going, yeah, it's a horror movie, and I've seen a few of them, and I enjoy the plot lines and all of it, but in a way too. Watching Saw definitely woke more people up as we watched it in a different limelight. We were watching it for the plot, but we were looking at it more from the psychological point initially to see if he was a killer. But as we progressively watched it, it goes with it too that as Mama just put it, it's an amazing mindset to go into this movie now of, you are going to have people that are going to go through this death trap, and they're going to come out and they're going to go, holy crap, what have I been doing with life? This is really wrong. I should change my way. Or you're going to have other people, like you pointed out with that ex-coworker and the other girl who cut off her arm. Well, I didn't get anything out of this. All I got was just a freaking handicap parking spot. But when you look at this in a reality sense too, like with you, my brother-in-law, and a whole bunch of people who are going through medical problems and dealing with situations, and you're forced to look at your outlook of life early, um, it's a very fucked up thing of going, we should just be together. We should work together with all of that. Not medical wise, but one that I did have
Community.
that yeah I had my wake up moment to appreciate life was I was coming back from my job, and I was driving a moped at the time. I was struck by a car, and the fact, yeah,
Oh fuck.
I was struck by a car, and I've shown Zero. I have a scar across the back of my spine, like directly down across the middle, where I bashed into the car. And uh, I had to, first off, I stood up and going, holy shit, I'm alive. And then as time moved on, I got to appreciate life more, live every moment. My wife gets so annoyed that I just want to travel. I want to do all this stuff. I want to take every moment to appreciate life because that for me like you said earlier in the stream, life hits you, man. Death is not a picky person. They'll just pluck out whoever the hell it is off the table. It doesn't matter. Life will hit you at a fastest moment like that. That
Right.
life was now being to be appreciated of we're here living life. I get to enjoy it and treasure each moment. I try to do my best to help anybody that I'm able to because again like you that I know society and our medical system is bad. It's wrong. It doesn't help people the way it should. To quote John, doctors are used to help people, you know, they're meant to help people, then we worry about everything after that.
Exactly.
We
That's
shouldn't
all
have
the aftermath. That should never be at the forefront.
exactly. And it's one of those that could piggyback off of Zero too, and you. Everyone should be coming together. We should work together. We should try to be helping, making things easier for people. Where in a society across the pond, UK and people like that, they can get the medical treatment. They can get all of that. Um, they get worried about afterwards. Heck, one of my favorite skits I saw to go with how fucked up this is, they go, "How much do you think an ambulance ride is in the United States?" And they sit there and go,
I've seen
"Oh,
that.
yeah," and they'll sit there and go, "It's like, oh, well, what was it, $40, $50 or something like that?" And you hear their
5,000.
value. Yeah, you hear their value because they're so used to it being extremely low over there because they care more about helping them. Over here, I had one. It was 900 fucking dollars.
Yeah. Yeah. Taking my dad to the hospital in an ambulance was 5,000.
Yeah, and that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. That should have been one of those that your precedent is you're an ambulance driver, you got this life, you're here to help them. You shouldn't have to charge them 5 grand to fucking go pick up someone who needs medical assistance now.
Seriously, like it's not a fucking Uber. It's literally I am in such a bad state that I can't even take myself to the place of healing. Please
Mhm.
help. And they're trying to nickel and dime people out of that as well, and it's just gross.
It,
It's
it, it,
gross.
it is. And Saul definitely, as everything progressed through all of it, it showed, especially with 6, as you put it, it is a medical horror. It showed the wrongness of the system. And as you watched, the guy who was in charge of everything had the option to save these people left and right. Like, I think the 2 traps that he had to go through that I think stand out the most, that back up everything we've talked about today, is one is the merry-go-round with all the people where it's like, oh, you have to listen to them and you have to
The
pick and
insurance
choose which.
policy.
Yep, it's your insurance policy, and you have to pick and choose who you think is there. And then the other one I think was a really rough one too. But the truth was the one where it had the 2 people on the platform. You had the older woman who smoked, but she has a family and grandkids and all that stuff. But yet she had an issue. She got help, and she's still doing everything wrong. Where he has the other guy who's completely healthy and has no family, and you're again even
I
with
think
that whole movie,
it
it's the
wasn't the
theme.
issue, it was just literally her age. It was
Exactly.
literally just, hey, we have this one woman. According to your policy, she is 72. Ergo, she's not fit to be saved.
Hmm.
Here's a bunch of pictures of her family from back when she was a kid all the way up till fucking yesterday. Now, here's another dude who he was like 29, and they go, according to your policy, that's perfect age. Here he is. He has no friends, no family, no life, doesn't contribute to society. According to your policy, this man is deemed fit for living. This woman should rot. Look at what's in front of you. And you're right. That's when he picked up those like weights and was pulling them. And looking down, it was this woman happy, fulfilled with her grandkids, with her kids. Just not a single picture was a sad one. And then we had this one dude where I have a theory Adam was the photographer for this because they were all candid, isolated pictures of this dude just by himself, just walking by himself, lonely, depressed, destitute. And it was a beautiful moment where, yeah, on paper, the old woman's health would be worse. But when it comes to a societal aspect, who is getting more out of their life? Who is leaving a better impact? Who has more purpose?
I mean, granted, that doesn't mean that she should live more than him.
No, not at all. Not
is
at all.
supposed to be valued, but I mean, granted, we put a value on it like we put a value on everything else. But at the same time, you know, you got to think who deserves more when it comes down to that specific instance, that specific choice.
Exactly. It wasn't him saying like, oh, the old woman should live more. It was literally him saying, so if this makes sense on paper for your policy, make it make sense for me here. Show me how it makes sense. And he was standing there and he goes, oh, fuck, man. It doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
Yeah, he realizes that toward the end. Yeah.
And exactly. And it's when you take everything as a whole in all of those movies and you look at everything that me personally, I would like to say that Saw, the series, if you're trying to look at it as the whole chronological order for John downfall, I would like to say you should start at Saw 6 and then kind of jump it around for the flashbacks. But
yeah,
it truly was fucked up with all of that throughout all the tests. I almost wonder what the guy's mindset would have been. Like at the end, we got to see the guy who was in charge. He's like, I am sorry I put you through this. I am extremely sorry that I put you. I realize now that what we did is wrong, and we should have never have done that. We should have put there shouldn't be a price sticker on the value of life. And it's a truly fucked up thing. And obviously at the end, you know, the mom had the chance and she goes, I just can't do it. This isn't what he would want. And the son's like, fuck this, you know, he needs to die, which is poetic.
It was such a powerful line where she goes, I can't do it. And he has a sigh of relief. And the son, by the way, the son was the actor who played Roderick in Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Same actor. # that's my Roderick. Anyway, but yeah, the way that he just grabs it and he looks at him, he goes, but I can. You killed my dad, you motherfucker, and dropped the lever. And it's like, yeah. The father would have had treatment, but he couldn't afford it.
Exactly. And he could have easily just given him the treatment, then worried about everything there too. Because I think he sat there and even said, the father goes, why? I have a job. I can pay for this. Everything is fine. And didn't they say something about like the toothache or something like that was the problem? Or was that a different person I'm thinking of? Because that was a fucked up one too.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, because it's like, well, you know, an infected tooth can lead to heart problems, and it's like, yeah, it's like, no, this is, and it's fucked up because it's true.
So, yeah, I was gonna say it is true, and the reason why is like I can shed some light on that. One thing you absolutely need to do when they're checking for a transplant as well is you need to go get your dental records because checked because they need to look for cavities or anything in your teeth because those hold bacteria and it's a one-way access to go to your heart or anything else. And it's very fucked up because
you have to make sure all your teeth is right before that.
Exactly. And it's fucked up because you're right. He literally goes like, he's like, I don't understand. I have a job. I have a good income. I just need help with this one moment. Like he literally said, he goes like, there was a moment where he goes like, even when I was on medical insurance, I never used it. I rarely went to a doctor a year. I'm a healthy person. This is just, it's just, you know, it's just this one thing. And yeah, the guy looked at me and goes, I'm sorry, but we show signs here of a denied untreated cavity and a denied root canal. And that's open ends and we're not going to cover you. And he goes, why not? And the guy just goes, because it could lead to more infection. And he goes, well, yeah, but I can go take care of that. And he's like, nope, I'm sorry. And there was that very impactful moment where he looked at the insurance adjuster and he goes, you're sentencing me to death right now. You know that? You're giving me my death sentence. And he has to walk up.
And it's fucked up. It
Yeah,
is.
he had to walk to his family and tell them, and just that super powerful moment of the mother sobbing and the son just looked at him with just absolute hatred.
And then to show how much the guy really didn't care at the end, where it's like, oh, he left. Yeah, this is the problem. Hey, what do you want for lunch? And it's it's fucked up.
And the fact that, and the fact that he was there, like, grabbing the gate, begging the woman, just please don't do this, please, sobbing in a very similar way that the woman's husband was sobbing back then. And you're right, it's beautiful because the wife is like, it was so great because she literally goes, I'm not doing this for me. I'm not doing it for my family. I'm doing it because if you deny another person, I will never forgive myself. And she's not strong enough to pull the lever. Well, not mentally strong enough. And she literally goes, I can't do it. Even if you have killed countless people, I'm not a monster and I can't do it. And that's the moment where the son just goes, I can, and grabs the lever.
Exactly.
And it shows right there that karma does come around for people, whether somebody institutes it themselves or not.
Yep. And that's the thing too, is like, I mean, I don't blame the son for pulling the lever, if we're going to be real. You killed his fucking dad.
Yeah, I don't blame him. So, KC, so we are coming closer to the end of today's episode. So yes. I thought we normally do one thing at the end where we do nerd updates and just kind of talk about some fun things. But I wanted to sit there and take maybe a couple minutes and talk about on a lighter side of Saw. Can we talk about some of the entertaining point out bloopers of going, what the hell's going wrong now with this movie?
Oh dear God! Saw 7, Saw 3D. The blood looked so bad.
It did.
I wanted, because on a lighter note for Saw, that if you look at it not from a mindset or for the story wise, if you look at some of the inconsistencies
but from a graphical
with effects,
standpoint,
yeah, it's so great. Saw 7, when we watched that, when we did a comparison to Saw 1, like when you saw the guts in the ground, for like, those are sausages. And then you look at Saw 7, he goes like, hey, the sausages are back. Or, why is the blood pink? I think I messaged you, and I told you, it was like, bro, did you ever realize the blood is pink? And then, like, in the middle of the movie, it's regular color, and then near the end, it's pink again. It's like, what?
But that first scene, when we first got blood, and it was pink, I looked right at Caboose, I'm like, is that fucking pink?
Is this Doggone Runpa?
Chair, you're back. You have a voice.
It's for the 3D, and I go, it's not realistic. It's not realistic.
Yeah.
You know, oh, go ahead, Casey.
Yeah, it's pretty clear that, like, they kind of just went, they went balls to the wall with the later ones, and it became a lot less about, like, the message or whatever, and more so just the spectacle.
You know,
goddamn right, Scorpio was a Danganronpa moment.
But see, even 6 was good, but 7 got to a point where, like, the only the surprising point to me that we were excited about was when we were starting. Our buddy Herschel joined us in the movie. He first off goes, I have zero interest in this movie series. So he's playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Right next to us.
He really did. He had zero interest whatsoever.
Yeah, and he ended up, as we progressively got to the point where, you know, John died and he left Jill the box. We're sitting there. His whole question is, "What's in the box? I need to know
what's in the fucking box."
And then my favorite point too, when we get to 7, was just like, we're laughing so hard because some of the kills were just they were realistic, but just the designs for them, you know, it's like, and the plot, you know, they're just like, okay, this is just a complete, we're just going for a bloodbath. Fuck the plot thing. It's going to be really bad dialogue.
Seriously, like, one of the worst dialogues ever was, like, the fishhook trap where he had to get out of her gut, and the moment where he's like, why won't you just shut the fuck up? And it's like, there's a fishhook in her fucking intestines, and you're essentially disemboweling her, man. You're gonna scream.
I think
You fucking dumbass.
my cheesiest line that I loved was when they're talking about trying to hunt down the one detective. He goes, "How do you know it's this place?" He goes, "Back when I was a rookie cop, I made the mistake of putting my gun down, and he saved my life. But obviously, I had to report him because it was." I was like, "Oh my God, when did we go back to the '80s cop shows?"
Yeah, yeah. I love how every now and again it tries to be like an 80s cop drama where it was just like where it's just like there's just a moment where everyone has like 9 cigarettes in their mouth and like, damn, that's the 5th sister I've lost this week, boys.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need at least 9 bottles of Jack and Coke for this one. It's a dark and stormy night out there, I tells you what. Although Mama asks a good fucking
Yeah,
question.
I was about to point it out to Casey. Your episode. Why don't you read that question and you go first and we'll answer.
For sure.
I already answered, so screw you guys.
No, you get to answer again.
Well, I don't feel fucking special anymore. I quit. I'm done. Zero fucking took the spotlight. This is bullshit.
Oh, hello,
I love
Squishy
you
Chair.
too.
Are you related to the one that belongs to Zero? It's a pleasure to meet you.
Wow, that's really offensive. You think all chairs know each other? Holy shit, Caboose. You're gonna get canceled for that.
Wow, I don't know what's going on over there, Zero, but damn.
Zero. Okay, let's go. This is the best part of the podcast.
I love my chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, get it?
Yeah!
Dylan knocks
Get it!
him down.
Caboose, get up! Yeah!
Oh, can someone clip that?
Oh. If it doesn't take KC, I will go through it and I will make sure I have that clip.
For sure.
Every time the announcer comes on, we'll have that clip.
Yes, please. The one of me shattering my fucking elbow. Okay,
So-
alright. I'm calling the chair cops. Oh, shit. Caboose, I'd run if I were you.
Did you fart?
The chair cops.
It's okay. I already called the sofa detectives.
Bro.
It's getting serious
You
now.
called the Sofa King department?
I did call the Sofa King department.
They're so fucking good.
So why don't you go ahead and read that question there, Zero?
Yeah.
Or it's not Zero, KC. Sorry, now I'm getting confused.
You're right.
We see your master.
Alright, so Mama K is asking, my 2-year-old thinks y'all are funny. Bro, we did it! We won the adoration of a 2-year-old! We
Through a
have
chair!
status!
Through a chair! Ha
Chairs and violence. It still hurts, by the way. Oh, good, there's no blood, but still. Anyway.
Oh, hold on. Let me get the pink liquid and we'll call it blood.
I know, yeah, right. Let me go get some Pepto-Bismol, and according to Saw 7, I am bleeding profusely.
Damn it, Condiment Man!
Oh my god. Alright, so Mama K is asking us, what are our favorite Saw traps? Zero, you did mention all of Saw 2, and I'm not gonna lie, Saw 2 is one of my favorites as well, but I do want to ask, just for Zero, because we already have a jumping off point, is there a specific trap in Saw 2 that gets to you, and why is it your favorite?
What comes to me like firsthand would probably be the needle pit.
Oh my god. Oh, yeah, that's everyone's firsthand.
Because, dear freaking God, the fact that you gotta go in there and search for something, and no matter what, you're getting stuck with something.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what. There's no way out of it. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna be horrible. Granted, you're not losing an arm like the banker or anything like that, or cutting your face off.
Oh, but the infection. Don't forget, like, the infections you're going to have to deal with.
Good Lord, every STD and disease known to man. Granted, they're
Yep.
probably all clean needles just to mentally fuck with you. But
No, John said they were used needles.
I was gonna say
well,
maybe
there we go.
maybe if they get lucky, there's something left in them, so at least it numbs the pain.
I
Although
yeah, right. I
I
would
think
be
that
like, just be a drop of opiates in one of these, please.
although if that happened, I think that scene would be worse. You jump in there to try to find the thing, and all of a sudden you're stoned out of your mind down there. Yo, man, this is
Right.
cool down here.
You're
I
right.
look like a
Hey
fucking
guys,
stoned
so
porcupine, but yeah, bruh.
once you get past like the STDs, the jaundice, the herpetogonosyphilades, and some other diseases that we're creating right now in this pit, it's actually pretty litty in here, bro. You guys should come down here. Check this vibe.
The Cabusius Loki shit.
Yes, all of it.
Okay, what about you, Caboose? What's your favorite?
You know, rewatching through the series,
I'm gonna give you guys the kitty cam too.
the kitty cat.
Woo.
This is Harley.
The needle pit was always one of my favorites when I was younger. If I have to 100% honestly go for my favorite out of the whole series, it's probably the Venus flytrap.
That's a good one.
I like the Venus.
That's a really good one.
Which one was that in?
So
Saw 2,
the
the
Venus
very beginning.
flytrap, the very beginning that the guy had to cut his eye to get the key. That was the Venus flytrap.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I like that one, and I feel like it's so underappreciated and overrun by the reverse bear trap. Just because
Yeah.
it's you could see the inspiration from it in a way was from an Iron Maiden, which was probably one of the messed up torture
Yep.
devices in existence. There's plenty of others I know, but
fun fact, we do not have any historical documents or evidence that an Iron Maiden was ever actually used.
Unless you go to
Like-
horror movies.
Yeah, oh yeah, if you go to horror movies, then they're constantly used. But like, if you go to actual like documents of like, I know, right? This is Harley. She's different. Good morning. But fuck, what was I saying? Damn it.
You were saying that there's been no historical evidence of one being used.
Yes. There's actually it's actually been rumored. Let me see if I can show you guys Harley's face. Harley, look up at the camera. Look up the camera, girl. Good girl.
It makes
That's
me
my
want to
dude.
call my 3 dogs.
It's my
Don't
good
you
girl.
do it
I have
there, louder
Harley
than
and
hell.
Ashes. Can't be louder than my girlfriend Schnauzers. But yeah, it's actually believed that like the Iron Maiden, while yeah it existed, was more or less only used for like for intimidation, meaning like, you know, let's say for whatever reason you fucking survived the rack or the wheel. They'd be like, all right, we're gonna put you in the Iron Maiden, and like they would literally like just immediately say whatever needed to be said because there's like no evidence of it ever being used.
What was the torture from the movie The Mummy with Brendan Fraser? What the hell did they call that when they mummified the guy alive?
Oh yeah, isn't that just called mummification?
Yeah, I think it is.
No, they had a specific name for it.
No. The term you're thinking of is what
Soku no Shibutsu.
Yeah, it was just the term that they used for it was like a most extreme punishment, but it was mummification alive is what it was.
Yeah, it was mummification while alive, but they had a specific name for it. I can't remember. But yeah, they cut his tongue out. They wrapped him alive. They removed his organs while he was alive, and then they put him in a sarcophagus while beetles eat him while he was alive, and then locked him in it.
And
Sounds
don't
like
forget,
a really
you got to
fun time at Disneyland.
don't
Oh,
forget
yeah.
someone wiggled their fingers and did a spell too. We can't forget the wiggle fingers.
Ooh.
Spirit
I
fingers.
love how we all do it.
Spirit fingers. You're right, we all did it.
Yes, I did
Yeah,
know that
Brendan
fact. Mama.
Fraser goes to like extreme lengths for his movies. I mean, just look at The Whale. That
That was a fat
that's
suit.
not all
He
a fat
asked for the
suit.
extra weight. Yeah, he had his extra weight, but he
I was saying
added
that's
more
not
weight.
all a fat suit.
Yeah.
Because like
I-
he was getting to a certain weight, and he's like, I need help. If I keep going, I am going to reach a point of no return. And they're like, all right, stop. We'll take care of the rest.
So KC,
But-
to back on track on it, because we love the sidetrack
not?
here on Infinigeeks. It is a fun time. What is
We do. It's our
your
favorite.
What is your favorite death trap?
Oh man. Okay. Let me see what I can do here.
I love the fact it's the guy who made us watch all the movies, and he's the one that has to dive
That's the-
through all of it.
That's
God
the
darn it!
problem, though, is I love all of
Come
them.
on!
Like, I know, they all have such... I really... First look at Reggie. Oh, that was later. So in Saw 4, I really, really liked the spike trap, where it was the abusive husband and the victim wife, and they would both die and they would both die from their injuries unless the wife got herself to the
Yeah, you're talking
hospital.
about the one that she had to pick who lived and who died type of thing.
Yeah, it was basically either we both die or I live and kill my husband by doing it. But the husband is, an absolute abusive dick. So it was literally John Kramer saying,
They pull the rebar out of him. Yeah.
Yes, yep, the rebar spikes.
Now that I think about it, and I wish it would have had more time, Saw 7 did have probably my second favorite trap. It just showed it for a brief glimpse, and that was where they're talking about what they survived through, and the one woman's like, I couldn't leave my husband, and underneath them is just a whole bunch of lawnmowers turned upside down.
Yeah, I also love how she won that one by bitch smacking him. Like, that's literally all we see is they're both hanging on razor wire, and she just, and that's what stuns him enough to let go. But
that's the biggest bitch smack of any person anytime.
I was gonna say there ain't never been a backhand more powerful.
So
that's the best pimp hand I've ever seen.
So KC0, I have a question for you to go with this. What was your favorite plot twist in the Saw series that you've watched? What was the big shocking plot twist moment that you were just kind of taken back by going, oh shit? Zero, I'll go ahead and start with you.
Get off the podcast now, because fucking spoilers, obviously.
Woo! Zero, I'll go with you, because Casey looks like he needs a minute to decide.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta think about this.
Had I not seen the films prior, because obviously years ago I saw them, but anyway, binge watching it, if I had never seen it before, and I was binge watching
that one's real fucked up. That's with the saw blade, where they're pushing the workers' table.
Oh, good God. So the fucked up, the biggest twist to me, had I never seen it before and binge watching it with Caboose, would have been the fact that Hoffman came around the corner and revealed that he was part of the game the whole time.
That was fucking...
That if I had never seen it before, that would have got me. I would have been like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
But I had seen it before, so I knew it was coming, but I still feel that way even to this day. It is the biggest twist, in my opinion, in the whole franchise. But then again, I haven't seen Jigsaw yet.
For me, I think the biggest twist, and it isn't even one of those classic twists that, surprise, I work with Jigsaw, but the moment at Saw 2 where they figured out it was not live footage but a recording, that shit threw me through a fucking loop.
That was good.
Yeah, mama, that was fucking intense too. But
yes.
Yeah, the moment where Donnie Wahlberg or the cop is like, I don't see you guys, I don't have any visuals. And they're like, we're at the location, we're here. And there's a moment where they go in and they already see Xavier's corpse with the back of his neck slit. Well, the back of his neck carved and his front neck slit, and he's just there. And we literally just saw that 3 seconds ago. Just that moment where we are having that realization with the officer where he goes, wait, fuck.
It's not
this
live.
is
This is
recording.
not live
This
footage.
is not real time. Yeah.
This is from a couple days ago at least.
Right? He immediately grabbed his gun, put it at John. He's like, where the fuck are they right this second? And he goes, your son is in a safe place. Which also, stupid fucking pun.
But it was so great though.
It was.
For me, if I have to go, one, the whole fact that how did she, Gordon, being from the very beginning, he snuck out and just, I love periodically, it takes us all the way 5 movies to see he snuck out, was definitely on there. But I think it was so subtle so subtle of a transition, and Saw 7 definitely could have done better with this reveal to it. But when you get to like Saw 6, when you get to the point where you find out that Jill's going, I have nothing to do with this. I hate this. I don't want to be involved in any of this. And you just see the fact that she knew everything that was going on. Which, yeah, I know it's a trope and everything, but the way the actress...
she knew, but she wasn't involved.
Yeah. She
knew, but she
there
didn't
were
want to...
very moments where they're like, and you're, and well, the funny thing, and actually this is also really sad if we want to talk more about health insurance, they got divorced because of the policy.
Mm-hmm.
Because it would have been easier for Jill and for her to keep her money if they weren't married with all the medical stuff, they got divorced, which is why there's a moment where he goes like, we're here to talk about your husband. And Jill goes, ex-husband, we're not together.
Mm-hmm.
And there's literally a moment where they go, oh, we don't have that in our records. And she goes, why would you? It was strictly so my life wouldn't be ruined like his is by medical bills. And then, of course, they talk further and they're like, we want to talk to you about your husband we want to talk to you about John and like what he's been doing. And Jill goes, I've already told you everything I know. I really don't. I knew he was doing something. I was never really tied to it per se until, of course, his last will, which was the bear trap and
the box and everything.
Which literally was just him telling Jill, if you love me, you'll purify my message.
Yeah, because obviously John knew that the one detective prodigy was just kind of going off. It's like, yeah, I'm an adrenaline junkie. I just like killing him. But I did, like I said, Saw 7 could have done so much better with her reveals on it. It just kind of felt forced because they didn't know what was going to go on with the series after that. Obviously, we had Spiral. Yeah. We had Jigsaw, and then we had Spiral, which I haven't watched Spiral because I got told to do not watch Spiral. But I have...
Just like Mama and I were saying earlier, it's a fucking stupid Saw movie, but it's a great Saw parody.
Yeah, and then from what was weird is I was telling Zero, there's a Saw 10 coming out this year.
Yeah, Jesus Lord, I gotta go see it.
And I need to watch...
I'm seeing it, boys!
Yeah, we might as well watch them all.
Let's all just come to Vegas and go in the theaters.
Yeah.
Oh, Vegas theater? Hell yeah.
Zero road trip.
Road trip? I ain't driving that far. Screw you. I'm flying.
Yeah, right.
But, KC...
I don't have to travel. I'm here.
KC,
darn it.
This is at the point where we'll quickly do any nerd updates or any updates for any pop culture.
It'd be cheaper if you
games.
traveled here, Casey.
Fucking probably. I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
Because it's 1 versus 2.
So
fucking definitely. I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
So KC,
but sorry, yes.
Do you have any 1 or 2 nerd updates that you have? They could be for video games, anything, pop culture, like we just talked about. Saw 7's coming or 10's coming out. You know.
I do. But I feel guilty talking about it because it's self-promotion on my channel, and like, that's not cool.
Don't feel guilty,
channel.
bro.
Do not feel guilty, man. You are fine.
So, a really good friend of mine, he goes by Fury in Heaven. He's really close with Popping Caps as well. He and I are working on some overlays, and the overlays partake to something very geeky, something I hold very dear. Hold on, I'm getting ready right now so you guys can see. It's not the overlays, obviously, but we're going to put a new channel reward point on my channel, and it's going to involve these babies.
Chairs?
There we go. Jesus.
Card sleeves.
Oh!
Card sleeves.
Ah, yes! The Green Lantern rings. I love it.
Wait, what?
Those are the different colors of the Lantern Corps.
These are the Lantern Corps. Yep, I'm missing 2 of them. Indigo and Sapphire, because Indigo got lost in my college dorm. Sapphire I gave to my ex-fiance way back when, and all that. But so
Do you have ultraviolet?
I did not get that one. No, that's brand new. I do want to see that one though. They work on Shame, right? Like
Shit. Possibly. I don't remember.
I think it's like the emotion of shame. Create weapons. Theoretically, could use this. Okay, anyway, I'll look that up later. But
that one's fairly new, so I don't remember.
Yeah, it's the newest. I mean, it's not really it's not really a color. It's not like ultraviolet literally is invisible on the spectrum, but yeah, it's a color. But yeah, I need to replace my rings because these are all worn. They're worn out, they're old and whatnot. But I'm very excited. I'm working on the overlays, and essentially what's gonna happen is we're gonna have two. We're gonna have pick a ring and random ring. If it's a random ring, I'll choose from a cup or whatever. But essentially, there's going to be a timer. I will put a ring on, and I will become that lantern core for that timer while I have it on. So, yes. Let's just say if this ring gets put on, we are going to see a very rage-filled Casey. But there's a reason they're timers, you know what I mean? You know, I could do these rings for infinite amount of time, especially because like I encapsulate this one quite well. But when it comes to something like these rings, I can only put them on for so long because, well, I already have anger issues. I don't want to actually lose control. But yeah,
you're not the only one, bro. I could. Red is definitely gonna be my color when it comes to emotion. I wouldn't choose red, but that's probably what's gonna be.
Right? Absolutely. But yeah. So that's what I'm working on. I'm really excited. It's gonna take some time because I'm a fucking perfectionist and I feel like it's just not ready yet. But what's ESO?
Elder Scrolls Online.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude, have fun. But yeah, so that's something coming up on Cheshire's channel. Very, very excited.
Case Zero, do you have any updates? Or actually, Zero, I know I just said that, but I have to say this real quick. I'm so sorry. This is the nerd news, and I have heard it's been officially signed, but there's not come out and said it. Jason Momoa, after being let go as Aquaman, has apparently signed to join Marvel.
What's he playing?
They haven't. Okay again, this is all stuff that I heard last week that he apparently signed with Marvel, but they haven't come out and officially stated it. But people from sources that said he's close to him has signed to join Marvel.
Whoa, mama! Let's keep that an opinion.
No. Casey, we'll go. I'll agree with you, Mama.
I'm alone. I'm alone in this opinion. I know.
I think DC has its moments, and it does have its moments.
Once DC gets organized under James Gunn and we start seeing that unfold, then I'll make a proper opinion. Until then, I'm not going to say a word.
Fair. See, my opinion is and again, opinion. I think DC makes better characters. Marvel makes far better movies. So, like, Marvel movies are so much more fun to sit down and experience and whatnot. But if you want to, like, actually sit down and read the comic books and everything, I think DC's characters are a bit better fleshed out, in my opinion. But
I think they're more compelling.
Yeah.
That too.
They're more compelling.
So, Zero.
Also, I found it out. The ultraviolet ring, I'm so sorry, but the ultraviolet ring works on self-destruction. So it actually is all based on the negative spectrum. The more loathing and hatred you have, the more powerful your ring is.
So honestly, me and you could go for anger and probably for that.
Yeah.
If there's one for food, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I fucking hate myself, man.
I mean, I guess avarice. It's not really the same, but like, you know, you can be Larfleeze. You want to be Larfleeze?
Sure.
Oh shit! If I had the Pot of Avarice Yu-Gi-Oh card, I'd be showing it right now.
So Zero, what about you? We'll go with one nerd update.
Okay, I got two. Should I pick one?
Let's hear both. Come
Yeah,
on,
go ahead, do
flex.
both.
Okay, I got two. You guys, I don't know if you follow it that often. I know Caboose kind of doesn't. The comic book Power Rangers and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles sequel is going on right now. They just revealed that in Dimension X with Crane, that little brain from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
little brain
Crane with
alien.
the big
Okay.
automaton.
Apparently, in his dimension, there were a group of Power Rangers specific to his dimension that his race killed.
Huh.
Oh shit.
Yes, and Crane brought the morphers to the main dimension to use against the Ninja Turtles and the Power Rangers.
Okay.
So that's where that comic is right now, and I thought it was really good. Casey Jones is actually working for Crane and Shredder and Rita Repulsa as a Dimension X Power Ranger.
Hashtag not my Casey.
So
Hashtag my Casey.
Casey right now is an
I
evil
do
Power
like the
Ranger.
idea of watching him go absolutely fucking batshit. So yeah, no, I'm okay with this too.
So I guess from what I know, Casey became a Power Ranger of Dimension X and not only beat the Ninja Turtles, but beat the Power Rangers' asses. So I don't know how
Casey
that
Jones
went.
is a fucking god.
So there's that, and there's still 4 other morphers. So good luck. And then another nerd update is Elder Scrolls Online just released a new update for Necrom in the Telvanni Peninsula in the new class, the Arcanist, which is based on Hermaeus Mora in the Black Books.
Okay, fuck yeah.
So it'll be ESO's 7th class.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
So that should be released about June. I think for consoles it's June 20th, but for PC it's about first week of June, somewhere in there, I think. If not May. I can't remember
Gotcha.
at this time. But I have a lot of fun with it, and I'll probably do my first stream on it.
Well, KC,
I'm excited. I'm gonna keep my eyes out for that.
KC, I know you have to go to work soon because we're over just a little bit of the timer. But I did want to say, you as our first guest, this was phenomenal. I had a blast with everything.
I had such a good fucking time. I'm so happy you guys let me be a part of all this. From being the announcer Time Lord to being the first guest, it's just I'm so honored. Straight up.
Dude,
Go ahead, Zero.
and we love having you, dude. I love how you do the announcements, and I had a great time doing this. And maybe here sometime soon we can get you back on the list to do another subject. I would definitely love to have another talk about God knows what.
Yeah,
Whatever
right?
you want to do.
God knows I've got a few topics up my sleeve.
And-
Hell,
and,
we can. If you guys really want homework, we'll go into Fire Emblem next. No.
Oh dear God!
No,
I was gonna say that's gonna take 20 lifetimes. We don't have time for that right now.
But I wanted to say, on my behalf, and I think this can speak for Zero too, we loved having you as our first guest. Super excited that you agreed to it. I'm really glad that you had a good time. Having our first guest,
absolutely.
having our first guest, Zero and I were a little bit worried. This is only technically our 4th episode for the podcast, and it's the first time we had a guest. So we were extremely excited that you was like, yeah, you want to do it? It's like, yeah, we'll binge Saw. We'll do this. We'll have a bloodbath marathon, and we'll get to have fun
Yeah,
talking
we have
everything.
no sense of
I
self-preservation.
dude, my favorite horror movies were always Saw, and I just loved doing it. I thought, you know what, I gotta catch up on all these movies. I know there's a few new ones I haven't seen yet. I said, fuck it, let's do it. I'm gonna enjoy this, and I did. I enjoyed our conversation. Granted, I still like The Conjuring too, but that's a different subject for another day.
Conjuring's good as well. But like, I'm not gonna lie, if you guys want me to talk about The Conjuring, I will. But I would like to take the angle of Ed and Lorraine Warren not being as great as they're cracked up to be.
Oh, you're talking about the real life
they're-
versions of them. Ooh, that
Yes.
See,
Yeah.
hold up now. We'll have to hold that we can hold that for the next time.
Yes,
that-
we will, because
that is a podcast episode on its own.
Oh, yes, it is a good one too. I think everyone will really enjoy it.
Well, Mr. KC,
But
we know you have to
thank you
go.
so much.
Thank you very much for coming on, and thank you for being our announcer. We love that. I love the process that we work through to get the announcement, and it's absolutely fun. I was going to say hilarious, but it is so fun to play it in the beginning of the podcast, and it was so great that we got to have you do it live in the very beginning of this episode.
It definitely it was a lot of fun. I'm glad I actually got to like perform it live.
Dude, because of your announcement, even with you doing it live, when I go into these things at Caboose, I always get nervous, and I get kind of like, when I was a kid, I was always shy, so I get kind of like nervous and stage fright. But as soon as I hear your announcement, I just feel pumped up and like, let's go, let's do it, let's freaking do it. And I feel great the rest of the time, and I appreciate you doing this for us.
Fuck yeah, man. Thank you. That means a fuck ton to me, dude. Hell yeah.
And we, to everybody that came by too, we love that you guys came for the podcast, supported it. We love that you definitely came by and showed all of us, and including our first guest, Casey, love. And Casey, I will piggyback on Zero. I do get pumped every time I hear that. It gets me all excited and jittery when I hear the announcement. But on this, we do unfortunately have to end. All good things come back to the end. The doors for this version of the multiverse may close, but another door does open. And the better question is, what's on the other side and who's on the other side?
That's
so
a
possibly
question.
A Fez.
Possibly a Fez, possibly a screwdriver, possibly a katana, possibly a controller. Who knows what's on the other side?
Possibly death.
Dear God, it's a
also
jigsaw.
death.
Right.
So, on my end, without further ado, till the next one.
Stay smiling.